Okay, we are going to do a video tutorial on how to use Microsoft Paint to make the color grids for the color-coded card weaving patterns. So to start, we're going to have to start Paint. And the easiest way to do that is to click down here into the search box and type Paint. Then Paint will show up here. Now with Paint, you can right click on it and you can say, it'll say pin to start or pin to taskbar. I've already done that, so it asks me if I want to unpin. But it'll say pin to taskbar, so I've got it right down here permanently on the taskbar so it's easy to reach. And then you'll want to run it. Now, Paint has this white workspace over here. And it's got these dots in the middle and the corners. And what those do are, those are resizing dots. So I'm going to put my arrow on the corner until I see the two little arrows. I'm going to drag this down a bit, make the workspace a little bigger. Okay, the first thing we want to do is come over here to Select and hit Transparent Selection. That's very important. Over here we have the two color blocks. The color 1 is what you get when you click with the left button, and the color 2 is what you click on with the right button. To select, you would click on whichever one you want to change, and then you would click on the actual color. We want black for the moment. So we're going to start off, pick this tool. These are the tool boxes. I'm going to pick the rectangle box. I'm going to draw myself a little tiny box, like so. Then I'm going to come up here under the line width and I'm going to pick the skinniest line. Then I'm going to click over here somewhere in the middle of the space and it'll drop a little box for me. Come up here to this rectangular select and then you're going to select that box. Once you've done that, we need to make a copy of that box. So you're going to hold down the Control key and press the right arrow key. Let go of the Control key and then start pressing the right arrow key and you'll see it moves that copy of that box over until it lines up. Click off of it somewhere, go back, click and drag with your left button to select that area. Control right arrow makes a copy of the two boxes and we're going to roll that over until we have 4 boxes. Click off in the area somewhere. Now I'm going to make a copy of that and I am going to save that for later because I'm going to want that later. Alright, now I need 18 boxes, so we're going to take the 4 and we're going to make that say to 8, right? 1, 2, 3, nope, there we go, 8. And then click off, and then I'm going to take those 8 and I'm going to make them 16. Hopefully I don't run out of room here. Then I'm going to select this whole thing, and what I'm going to do is I only need 2 more boxes. So I'm going to hit Control right arrow, and I'm only going to move this over 2 boxes. That's 1, and that is 2. So now I've got my 18 boxes representing my 18 cards. I'm going to drag around over this again, and this time I'm going to hit Control down arrow, and I'm going to make, we've got to do, this pattern is an 8 turn repeat, so I need to get 8 rows. So I'm just going to do it this way until I have my 8 rows. Okay, there we go. Now you can click and drag around something, and then when you get the 4 arrows, you can just move whatever's in your selected box. You can move it wherever you need it. I'm going to come down here to the corner again and resize that. And then I'm going to come up here and say File, Save As, choose PNG. Come over to my folder, which is my card weaving folder, and I'm going to call this the 18 by 8 grid. Okay, and I'm going to shrink this down for the moment. Now, to find card weaving patterns, we're going to go to the internet and we're going to search for Pinterest card weaving patterns, and we're going to click down here on 997 best card weaving patterns, and we're going to select that, and it's going to bring you up to this page, and then you're going to want to click on this patterns here. Now I've already done it, so we're just going to go forward to that page, and that will bring you to this page. Then you have to scroll around until you see a pattern like this or like this that you want to do. I want to do this one over here, the double-headed dragon. So I'm going to click on that. And then I'm going to click on the picture again. And it will pull up a big version of that. Well, in this case, it's going to bring me to a website that has a lot of card weaving patterns. Okay, we're going to select this one right here for the moment. And that one is 18 cards. And if you look here, you can see that the pattern repeats every 8. So this is the one we're going to use. I'm going to right click on it and I'm going to say Save Image As. I'm going to pick my folder, which should come up the last one I used, which should be my card weaving folder. No, it's not. So we're going to come over here to SCA. Nope, that's not the right SCA. I'm going to go to Personal SCA Card Weaving. There we go. And I'm going to save that. I'm just going to leave it in its bizarre name, but you can click in here and just rename it to anything you want. And I'm going to hit save. Alright, now I'm going to shrink this down. Let's go back into Paintbrush. I'm going to click here, open. I'm going to find that card weaving. You can see I have downloaded numerous ones, and that's it right there. So we'll click on it. Here it is. Now I'm going to click on this little dot on the side, and I'm going to drag my workspace over. And then I'm going to come over here to where it says paste. I'm going to hit paste from. And then I'm going to go down and find my 18 by 8 grid. And hopefully it's not too big. Okay, that's just right. Alright. Now, I dragged it. It shows up in the corner. I clicked on it and dragged it over where I wanted. And then I let go and it dropped it right there. Now, the reason I put these 4 little blocks here is these are going to represent the sides of the cards as a reference. So to fill those in, the color sequence, you'll start on blue, so the next turn of the cards will be yellow. So I'm going to click on yellow over here, get my color to yellow, click on this little paint can over here, and when I put it over the square and left click, it puts the color in there. Now after yellow, the next turn is red, so I'm going to fill that with red. And then the next one is green, so I'll fill that with green. And the next one is blue, and I will fill that with blue. So that is just a little guide to help me remember what the color sequence is when I turn my cards. Now, as I said, we'll always start with the cards with the blue side up. And so to then fill in this chart, we have to see that our first 4 turns are going to be all the cards going forward. So if we start with blue, the first turn will be yellow, so we're going to select yellow for the color, and then we're going to fill in the first, all of them will be turned to yellow. That's the first forward turn. Then we do another forward turn, so the next color from yellow will be red. So we will click on red and we will fill in all of the reds. And then from red, the next forward turn will be green. So we'll fill in all the greens. And then the last forward turn, everything will go back to blue. So we'll have turned the cards completely around for that first 4 steps. Now, up here, it gets a little more complicated because it's saying the forward is 1 through 5, 9 through 10, and 14 through 18, and turning the cards backward is 6 to 8, and then 11 to 13. So if we're going to go forward, 1 through 5 is going to go forward. Forward from blue is yellow. So cards 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 will go to yellow. 9 and 10 will go to yellow. So if that was 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10 go to yellow. And then 14 through 18. So we're going to say if that was 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18. So those are the cards that are going to go forward. Now 6 to 8 is going to go backwards. If we're on blue and we go backwards, we'll go to green. See, from blue to green. So these are going to get filled into green. Now anytime that you have cards turning in, two turns the same or 4 turns the same, if it's an even number of turns the same, 2 or 4, you're going to see a pattern where you'll have yellows and greens together, you'll have solid blue and solid red, and if you get anything else, you've probably done something wrong and you need to go back and check it. Okay, so we've done the first step. Now the next 4 steps are identical. So if we're going to go forward for these yellows, the next color would be, that's what I want to do, red. The next color will be red. So these yellows will all turn to red. And if 6 to 8 is going backwards from green is red. So these will all be red. So like I said, the reds will all be all the way across and the blues will be all the way across. Okay, so we do it again. 1 through 5 is going to be forward for red, which will be green. And 6 through 8, going backward from red, will go to yellow. 9 and 10 will be forward. 11 through 13 will be backward. And the rest will be forward. And then finally, the greens will go forward to blue. And the yellows will go backwards to blue. And like I said, the blues and the reds will go all the way across. And there's your color chart for that pattern. Now one of the things, yes, it's right down here, is how you thread it. And this one's nice because it says A, B, C, D. Some of them do not say A, B, C, D, but you can assume that the top one is A and the last one is D. So that's basically how you do a color chart for the color-coded card weaving. Now let's say you're clicking over here and you accidentally click your grid like that. To undo that, you press the Control key and then tap Z, and that will undo the last thing that you did. So that is how you undo mistakes. Also, if you've done something wrong and the color is wrong, you could just change the color to what it should have been and click on it and it'll turn to that color. So that makes it real easy to change the colors if you make a mistake. Now, one last thing I'm going to tell you is, and this is just general information, if you got something on your screen and you don't want it, you just click on this selected box around it and press the delete key, and it'll delete everything inside of your selection box. So hopefully that will get you going with your color conversions of your charts. One other thing I can go about here is I can also do text. So I can say 1 space, 2 space, 3 space, 4 space, 5 space, 6 space, so on. I'm going to be too big. Okay, that would represent the 18 rows. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to left click and drag over those, and I'm going to come up here where it says 17, and I'm going to choose a smaller font. And what I'm trying to find is something where those numbers will roughly line up. And now, as you can see, you go 12, 14, 16. I think I want 15, so I'm going to drag across that 16. I'm going to type in 15. Okay, and press enter. And now I've got these pretty close to lining up with my boxes. So I'm going to click out of it now. I'm going to come up here to my selection again. I'm going to select over that. I'm going to drag that to the ones lined up. And then I'm going to take this little right arrow and I'm going to drag that down until I shrink my numbers to fit. And that's how you can number your columns. And then likewise, I'm going to drag this over for just a little bit, make a little more space. Likewise, to do the rows, you can drag this and you can say 1, enter, 2, enter, 3, enter, and so on until you get your 8 numbers. Except that you got to go backwards. So I'll start with 8. Okay. And then we're going to come down here to, on the bottom edge you'll see an X, and then we're going to drag these down until we kind of half line up. And then once again we're going to left click and drag, and then we're going to come up here and start picking numbers again until we find something really close. That's real close. And then I'm going to click off of that box, and then I'm going to come over to select. I'm going to select over that, and then I'm going to grab this little thing with my 2 arrows, and I'm going to drag it down just a hair until they line up just a little bit better. And there, and that's how you can number your columns and rows if you need to do that. And by the way, the text that you draw your numbers will be whatever color number 1 is. Since I had it on blue, the text ended up in blue. If you want it on black, make sure you change the color to black before you start typing in the text. Anyway, so that's basically the tutorial. If you have any questions, you can always contact me on North Shield Arts and Sciences page, or you can email me at mcook@dakotalink.net. That's my email. And that will, I will be more than happy to answer any questions that you might have about color-coded card weaving in general, or charting, or whatever you need. Anyway, that is everything. Thank you for watching my video.